What's up, everybody? I'm Scott,
And I'm Jason.
and you're listening to Liquid Carnage. If you couldn't tell, we are recording on Jason's 50th birthday. So happy birthday to our star of the show, Mr. Jason Edgeworth.
Back in my day, we didn't even know how to record.
No,
No,
we
we
had
still
we had to
don't.
send
We
carrier
still
pigeons
don't.
with notes
We
written
still
back
don't.
and forth,
But
right?
that's okay. Hey, thanks for the birthday wishes. I appreciate it. Yeah, we record on a Monday usually, and today, Monday, happens to be my 51st birthday. As I was joking around with Scott before that, 50th birthday, I was gung ho, and 51, I'm ho hum.
That's it, man. That's what you get older, more mature. Things don't excite you as much as they used to. Different things excite you at 51 than they did at 15.
Gee, are you finding something though that's really strange in this world? That I'm noticing that age used to mean it used to mean that every year you got a little older, you got a little bit wiser, you got a little bit more emotionally controlled,
Yeah.
less unhinged. Things that used to bother you as a young person don't bother
In,
you as much anymore. You you
in
know you,
theory,
you
yeah.
overreact with things when you're younger, and you kind of calm down as you get older. This world right now is going totally opposite. It seems like the older we get, the more curmudgeon and off the rails we get. I mean, it is just absolutely ridiculous to me that grown men and grown women who know better, or who at least who should know better, act like children.
Well,
Absolutely
I think
children.
I think it's fairly obvious why we live in the social media age where people that would normally get punched in the mouth for saying the things they do can say it behind a keyboard and feel protected.
Maybe, yeah,
They
yeah,
can
that's
feel
probably true.
it's their First Amendment. It's their freedom of speech. They can say what they want because they're just stating their opinion.
Well,
Yeah.
don't you find it odd now that there used to be, if you said something against someone that was a lie, a flat out lie that could be proven as a lie, you could take them to court for slander. You could take
Yeah.
them to court, and if you could prove that the lie was damaging enough, you could get settlement for it.
Yeah. Well, I believe you still can.
Oh, I don't think so. I
I believe
really don't think so.
I believe we're coming out of a presidency where people are trying to use well, that's what I believe as a defense. So if I believe it, it must be true. If I say it enough times, someone else is going to believe it, so that makes it true. That's the willing it into existence argument, and I don't necessarily buy that because at the end of the day, a bird is still a bird. You cannot look at a bird and tell me it's a rock and expect me to believe a rock because 10,000 people say it's a rock just to believe you.
Well, and what I've been philosophizing about is, and we talked a little bit about it earlier, but if you're going to use that excuse as if I do something illegal, but I firmly believe that it's true, then I should be able to do whatever I want because I did nothing wrong. I believe that was true and I acted toward that belief. There are so many people in jail right now that have had their First Amendment rights violated on that same exact premise.
Well, if someone won a court case on that premise, you're absolutely right. People could go back and file appeals based on I robbed that bank because I thought I was taking care of my family in the safest way possible, and you can't argue that I wasn't just because you don't believe so.
Oh, I think of it even simpler than that. That woman right there across the bar, she totally wants me. She totally wants to have sex with me. I go and have like sex that is not condoned. It's called rape, but I firmly believe she wanted to have sex with me. She wanted to have sex with me, so I just gave her what she wanted. That doesn't follow. You can't use the First Amendment that way. That I firmly believe that woman's purse is my purse. Firmly believe that. So I'm going to take
Yeah,
it. I'm going to take that purse.
I agree.
Doesn't work that way. But people keep throwing around this First Amendment like, oh my goodness, that equates me, that allows me to do everything. And I remember my mom used to always tell me when I was a kid, you do have the freedom of speech to say whatever you want, but you also better be willing to accept that not everyone's going to like what they hear from you and that they have the freedom to respond to what you say.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes that response might be a punch across the nose.
Well, people have the freedom and the rights to defend themselves and their rights too. And if what you're doing is flat out illegal to somebody, you can't be mad when the consequences hit you right between the face or right between the eyes. You know.
Well, and I think that we all throw these freedoms around like they're just, I have the freedom to do this and I have the freedom to do that. Well, yeah, but freedoms come with responsibilities. And if you're not following the responsibility that the freedom was giving you entitled to, then are you doing the right thing? I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think you making a public statement where you're incorrect about something and then someone proves to you that you're incorrect, you going then and saying, you know what, I made a mistake, I apologize. Okay. You saying, no, screw that. They don't know what they're talking about. I'm going to still do this. No, that doesn't work. That doesn't work.
Well, it's the world we live in. Like I said, I blame social media for it. I blame the internet, which is supposed to revolutionize humanity, is going to be the downfall of humanity. And I think we're seeing that right now with another thing I've been reading on the internet, the Elon Musk versus Mark Zuckerberg fight. I can't tell if this is a real fight or not. If it is, I kind of don't care, but I kind of do. You know, two nerds fighting over what? Your billion-dollar companies? If that's not excess in America, I don't know what is.
Do you know what started this or what's pushing this challenge or this idea?
I believe, from what I've been able to pick up, Elon Musk purchasing Twitter and basically running it into the ground. I'm sorry, purchased Twitter, then turning it into X, and then running it into the ground. And I believe Zuck started Threads, which is their answer to Twitter, and it has been all downhill since then.
And they're talking shit to each other.
Yeah, that's what I understand. But again, I can't tell what are fake accounts versus what are real accounts anymore. But there are plenty of reports of Zuckerberg out there training with Brazilian jiu-jitsu fighters and having a 4,000 calorie a day diet. And for a tiny dude, he's looking kind of jacked. And he's a lot younger than Elon. And I think Elon is full of shit, and push come to shove, I think he'd get his ass beat.
Yeah, I am I mean, I've always believed that while size of the person you're battling is important, the will to battle a person is very much an important aspect of who's going to win that fight. I have a friend, I have an old friend, an old acquaintance. I haven't talked to them in years, but when I was friends with them, he was the kind of guy, he was about 5'7", maybe my height. He wasn't necessarily like big, strong, but when he got pushed to that limit, the eyes went black, and he was the type of person that you're going to have to kill him because he's going to keep coming until one of the two of you is not moving anymore.
Yeah.
And when you have someone that's that committed, where they don't have a fear, they don't have that's a very tough opponent. I don't care what kind of skill set you have. That's a tough opponent to have to battle, because you're not only fighting their physical abilities of fighting, but you're also fighting that emotional connection where he says, I don't care what you do to me, how much you hurt me. I'm going to make sure that one of us is not moving at the end of this.
Well, at the end of the day, though, this is nothing more than a schoolyard bully fight between two nerds with rival science projects. Let's be real. That's what this is. I mean, at the end of the day, this isn't a pay-per-view fight. I don't think anybody really cares. The only way I'm ever going to watch this is if they show it free on their platforms, and I happen to be scrolling that night whenever it is. I'm not going to seek this out, because I think billionaires fighting billionaires because they hate each other, while entertaining at the thought, because, come on, it's ridiculous.
Well, this kind of goes back to what we started the show on. Like, you guys are grown men, the two of the richest men in the world. You don't have a single thing to be this upset about. Ever.
Right?
Ever. You have everything you could possibly want. You've conquered this world. How can you turn that into, I'm so angry that I'm going to fight someone over it? It's just ridiculous to me.
Oh, I agree, but that's the world we live in today.
Yeah.
And this is a very different world than it was 30 years ago. And I look back when I was 12 years old and how much simpler life was. Where, hey man, if someone wanted to call me, they had to call my landline. And if I was there, I could answer the phone, or my parents or brother would get me the phone. If I wasn't, they would take a message.
Yeah, there used to also be a time too when people had a better control of their emotions.
Mm-hmm.
To recognize that when someone challenges you to a fight, I'll give you a perfect example. When I was 12 years old, there was a bully at the school that I went to in junior high who was going to threaten to kick my butt after, um, kick my butt after getting off the bus. And he was going to stay on the bus to get to my stop, and then he was going to kick my butt. And I, you know, and what he was trying to do is prove to me, hey, you're going to stay on the bus until I tell you to get off the bus. And if you try to get off on your stop, then I'm going to get off on your stop, and I'm going to make sure that you don't ever make that mistake again. And at the time, I was 12 years old. I said, well, if something's going to happen, it's going to happen. So I got off the bus at my stop, and I started walking. I didn't look behind me. I didn't look to see if they were following me. I didn't acknowledge whether there was an existence of them behind me or not. I think they did get off the bus on the same stop, but they never did anything. Now, I'm not sure whether that was an emotional control on their part, or if they just realized if this kid's not scared to get off the bus when I told him not to, then maybe I shouldn't mess with him. I don't know. But sometimes you got to just control your emotions and not let fear or anger get the best of you.
I don't know. A bully's a bully till the bully gets punched in the mouth. Whether that be physically or mentally, and until someone gets that control taken away from them, where they think they have the upper hand. And we've all dealt with bullies at some point in our life.
Yeah.
I think at some point in time, we've all had to deal with that person that has bad intentions toward you, and you have to figure out how to overcome, I guess.
Well, and the other thing too is at what point in if you're thinking about it, at what point is a fight worth fighting for?
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think of Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
What benefit is one of you going to get over the other? Because have you ever been asked to, like, I remember one time my friend got asked, one of these girls wanted to, she was a bodybuilder, and she wanted to challenge him to arm wrestling. I can beat you in an arm wrestle, no problem. And my friend said, what do I gain from this? If I beat you, I beat a girl. If I lose to you, then I got beat by a girl. Where's the benefit to me? Well, I just want to prove that I can kick your butt and blah, blah, blah. And I feel like this thing is the same thing. Like, Mark Zuckerberg beats Elon Musk or vice versa. Okay, what next? Like, what did you prove?
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't prove anything. You're still both multi-billionaires. You still both have a life. I mean, so what's worth fighting for? Maybe that's the question. What's something that's worth fighting for?
And I guess the question becomes, what makes that worth even watching? If the stakes for something like that have to be so high to make the world tune in or even remotely care, and the argument now is like, well, you obviously care because you're talking about it, but I think we're more or less talking about the absurdity of it. But in a perfect world, whoever lost that fight should lose their fortune and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And be forced to start over. No house, no car, no credit, nothing. You get a blank slate. You are living, with a shopping cart in Des Moines, Iowa, and you got to figure it out from there to get your fortune back.
Maybe that's one of the benefits of, like, poker, where you go mano a mano with someone. They win, they take your money. You win, you take their money. It's very simple. It's very simple. And that's something that's worth fighting over, Like, you think about those gladiators from ancient Rome. Hey, who's the toughest, strongest? The toughest gets the cheers of the crowd and everyone loves them. The weaker dies. Like, that's about as this is what we're fighting for.
That's as primal as it comes.
Honor and glory or death. One of the two.
Yeah. Yeah. You think you would have survived back in the day if you were a gladiator?
No. Absolutely not.
Like, you ever thought about, like, if you were in the Colosseum in Rome and it was you versus a lion and you had your, I don't know, what do the Romans used to wear? Your toga?
Yeah.
Was it a toga or was it something a little bit shorter?
Well, it wasn't a toga per se. I mean, it was basically not a loincloth though either. I
We'll
don't know
call it your
what they,
summer toga.
yeah,
Your,
it's
your
a
short
short battle toga,
a
maybe.
battle toga. Well, I'll call it your summer toga because
Okay,
that just
summer
sounds
toga.
better.
There you go. Perfect.
What would be your weapon against the lion?
See, I think, and I could be wrong, but I think I would be wanting to have a sword. Like a
Okay.
sword for more manual, like quicker reaction. I feel like a spear will give you the distance, but I feel like it would be so unwieldy that the lion would be able to dart and attack much quicker.
So you're looking for the close combat.
I'm looking for the speed of which I could move my sword around. Like if he attacked, I'd be able to more quickly take my sword and attack than the spear, which would keep the distance. But I feel like the lion could easily outmaneuver and pounce on me while I was like my spear was out of position.
That makes sense.
What about you?
I think I'd go with the mace and net combination.
Oh, so there you go. You put the net onto the lion and then beat him with
Yeah.
the mace.
Yeah, or use the mace to daze him. You just got to get lucky. You just got to wing him, and then you get the net over him, and then bickety bam.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Would it make it even more of a fun fight between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg if they had to choose a weapon too?
Like a primitive weapon?
Like a sword, mace, like if they were going to add like a weapon, not just fisticuffs, but a weapon.
I think I'll be honest, man. I think I don't really care either way.
You still wouldn't watch if you said, "Hey, pay-per-view tonight, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk playing with
I feel like if you're
gauntlets where they
I
have
feel like
spikes on the end of their gauntlet."
if you're paying to watch billionaires fight on that level, you're making someone else a billionaire because they figured out how to pit those two billionaires against each other, and I don't want to do it. You know, like unless there's something so highly at stake that makes it worthwhile, like the end of the free world, what have you. I don't really care.
Yeah, I can see why people pay the money. I mean, the MMA or the what's the fighting one, the MMA
And Bellator,
UFC, the
yeah, yeah.
UFC.
Mhm.
They make so much money on those pay-per-views.
See, but that's different. Those guys are fighting for their lives, literally. I mean, they are professional fighters.
Oh, so you're saying that a trained Mark Zuckerberg versus a trained Elon Musk wouldn't be the same thing?
No,
Wouldn't
because they're
have the
two grown
same
men
thing?
having they're two grown men having a slap fight, over the internet.
Oh, okay. You're
No,
assuming that they don't have the skill sets that you would pay to watch a real fighter have. You're saying these guys probably aren't going to have it.
no, these guys are bitches. I mean, if I'm gonna watch a fight or pay money for the fight, I'm gonna pay to see, Nate Diaz versus that Paul guy, or Anderson Silva versus whoever, Conor McGregor in his prime. I'm gonna pay for one of those fights. I could care less about billionaire tech owners who think they're better than the other one.
Yeah, it's almost like maybe the key is fight in the realms of your expertise.
Yeah,
If you want to fight in an arena that is of your expertise, right?
and I agree. And if you're gonna fight in that realm of expertise, well, look at the man who bought Twitter and lost $44 billion on it.
Oh,
Versus a man who's made Facebook, Instagram, and now Threads.
or you can be like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. Let's see who can donate more of their money. You
Do you
can.
think they really do that?
Well, how about this? Whether they actually do it or not, I know that Warren Buffett has said that he's pledged 99% of his net worth to this fund when he dies.
Well, that's great.
So Bill Gates, the pledge that he made was 95% of his net worth when he dies.
What gets me is like these guys could cure world hunger for a fraction of what they have in their bank account. Yet nobody has figured out how to do that.
They said that the amount of money that Elon Musk paid for Twitter could have completely funded the yearly budget, doubled the yearly budget of the education budget in the U.S. budget.
Do they not see the irony in that?
We could have doubled. We could have doubled the budget for the Department of Education for the whole United States based on what he paid for Twitter to basically run it into the ground.
Yeah. Like, and nobody sees the irony that we could have funded the education department for an app that is now dumber or making people dumber because they choose to believe everything on it.
Well, and any of these, I mean, how many? When you get to that level of money, really, why do you need to have all the houses, all the boats, all that stuff? I mean, how much is too much, right? So if these two guys want to fight, like you said, we'll bet $1 billion on a fight. Hey, game on. Let's do it. Let's see a fight for $1 billion. I'd love to see that.
I don't care about $1 billion. You want winner takes $1 billion? No, man. I said if I'm going to watch that fight, it's because someone loses everything.
So, but what would be the but you would okay? So here's the thing. So there, you still don't have the expertise in the fighting, but you're saying you want to see the one person's face when they realize they lost everything.
But their livelihood is at stake. That's the difference. That's the difference between this and UFC. A UFC fighter, if they lose, they potentially lose out on being in the next championship fight or getting the next big payday fight. They go back down the card. These billionaires fight, and there's nothing on the line that can drastically hurt their existence. What's the point? What's the value in it? It's dumb.
I even asked the question, what, like I said, what do you prove? You beat Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Woo, wow, you beat Mark Zuckerberg. Who cares? Yeah.
That's
now, if
is.
Elon Musk actually beat, someone like, someone real, like Conor McGregor, you beat Conor McGregor. Now you got something. Okay, I'll give you props. You beat Mark Zuckerberg. Well, okay. Or Mark Zuckerberg beats you. Okay. Yeah. Whoop-de-friggin' do.
Yeah, you just keep going. It's not that big of a deal.
So what is the difference, do you think, in our psyche that we love blood sport for the raw, I mean, I don't know about you, but something about seeing someone standing upright to knocked out cold and with one punch is fascinating to me.
Oh, absolutely.
Like when I see some of these videos where one punch takes a man who could kick the shit out of everyone, including his own opponent, but he gets hit by a lucky punch or gets hit with a punch that just cleans his clock and he just falls like a bag of potatoes. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, but the science behind that and the power behind it, that's what makes professional fighting so much more interesting because those people train for that and they stand to lose a lot if they get hit with one of those punches.
Well, I don't know if they lose a lot.
It's not billionaire versus billionaire.
I mean, I don't know if it's a lot. Like some of the people who have lost still make money. They make tons of money even with the loss. They don't have the glory of being able to say I'm undefeated, or they don't have the glory to say I'm the toughest man alive. Whoever wins this fight between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg gets no such bragging rights for doing it.
No.
Now, hey, wait a minute. On a serious note, have you ever gotten into a fight just because you said, I want to hit somebody, something, someone. I just want to let out my frustrations and it feels good?
No, never with someone.
Okay. See, like I've never done it with someone, but when you face a bully, there is something probably very rewarding about just hitting the bully, knocking his tooth out or knocking his eye swollen and just saying,
once you get the upper hand on somebody like that, I mean, that's different.
Well, and I think to me what the difference is that if I'm fighting a bully, I'm fighting for a cause that's a right versus wrong, or I'm fighting for protection of the innocent over the guilty or whatever. If I have a reason to fight someone and a good reason to fight someone, I can stand up for that. I could do that. Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, I just don't see that. You're right. So I wouldn't go watch it.
No. But, like I said, if you like a UFC fight, MMA, absolutely. The old time Roman style fighting in the Coliseum, you bet your ass. But billionaires fighting over something stupid, this is a slap and tickle fight. I don't care about this.
Then again, that's what the ESPN the Ocho's for.
No, man, because that would disrupt the dodgeball and wiffle ball tournaments, and that's fucked up because those are worth watching. The fact that there are professional wiffle ball players in this country and they take the sport seriously is mind blowing to me.
See, here's, you know what? We always have a great way of bringing this back full circle. The very first statement is, what is up with getting older and we start to, we should be wiser, not dumber. And to take wiffle ball as serious as some of these guys do, like I watched one where the guy got hit like 5 times by the wiffle ball and was like so pissed. It's like, dude, it's wiffle ball. Come on, relax, man.
I watched the Professional Wiffle Ball League All-Star game last time the Ocho was on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna repeat that for those listening in the back. The Professional Wiffle Ball League All-Star game. One. But the professional wiffle ball, it hasn't made its way out west yet. This is clearly an East Coast thing. Two, you're gonna have to have a real job. I can't imagine what the monster contract in wiffle ball is. Like, you get 2 Capri Suns after each game,
and 3 orange wedges.
Yeah, and a Twinkie. You get a Twinkie because you did good. And also, how many teams are there that you can have an all-star team to field 2 full squads, or all-star game to field 2 full squads?
I don't know.
But that's here. It's dumb. We should be getting smarter as we get older. But these are all middle-aged men.
Yeah.
These are all men that you watch the interviews like you clearly live in your mom's basement.
And, you know, maybe it's true, Scott, as we get older, I think we get wiser, but maybe we don't. Maybe we get dumber because you and I have both talked to those men in their 70s and 80s. They're just old curmudgeons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they just bitch about the kids being on the lawn. They bitch about this and bitch about that. And you would think that, you know, hey, I lived it. I saw it as a young adult. I saw it as a middle-aged adult. I'm an older adult. Hey, that's just part of life, right? No, I'm going to bitch and complain about how terrible these kids are nowadays. They never learn, no respect for their elders. And they forget that when they were kids, they were so disrespectful to their elders. It's not even funny.
Oh, yeah. Well, we forget as we get older how dumb we were as kids. And it's funny because I hear this a lot. Someone posted a memory of a friend of ours and myself like 10, 11 years ago. And the biggest comment was, Jeff had, or our buddy Jeff had no gray hair, and I looked like a baby. So how hard has the last 10 years been on me to where I don't have that baby face anymore? Probably it's okay. I'm okay with it. But, so it doesn't matter how old you are. Someone 10 to 15 years younger than you will always think you're just a kid and you have never experienced life yet. Even when you're 40 or 50.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I think that when you live like that and you just realize you're just a kid, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. At some point, they do know what they're talking about because they're no longer a kid anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? And
well, it's funny as you get older though because you do live that life, you do experience the things. It's just everyone experiences things differently.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
And that's what we have to remember. Everyone has a different experience and a different existence on this life.
Yeah, and hey, if Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk want to do it, I don't have to watch, but I don't have to stop them either. Go ahead, beat the shit out of each other. Sounds great.
Do your thing. I'm sure I'll read about it on the Twitter and the threads.
That's right. Yeah, it'll make big news. I think anything though, it's like we put a lot of energy and weight into stories that just really are not that important.
No, yeah,
really not that important to our daily lives.
That's the world today.
Yeah. Yeah, the importance of things
really going on.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, and the things that should be important and we should put our energies in, totally disregard that. Like if that's just a lie. That's just a lie. We can't believe that. That's just a lie. So,
I agree. So as we wrap up today's show, if you've read something on the internet that you just think is dumb, or if you want to put your 2 cents in about this potential fight amongst billionaire morons. We want to hear about it. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Liquid Carnage. If you have any ideas for the fall season up in the Denver metro area to keep the EP busy and get him out of the house, he wants to hear about it. Hit him up at liquid_EP on Twitter and the Instagram.
I do want to thank everyone who gave me birthday wishes today. I do appreciate them. I really do. I think that one of the things I always tell in my mind is that my mind feels younger than my age physically. And maybe part of that is that I have so many great memories with great friends that those keep me young.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like I got so many well wishes today, and it just made me feel like, yeah, I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed. So thank everyone. I want to thank everyone for the happy birthday wishes.
Well, in honor of your birthday this weekend, as you know, I dabble in the kitchen. I to date, I think I've created my greatest sausage yet. I made all beef hot dogs this weekend from scratch.
What?
All beef, locally sourced, no lips, no ass hot dogs.
Lips and assholes. That's awesome, Scott.
And you know, and I was thinking, like, man, Jason would appreciate these because they are very good.
Yeah.
And I'm my biggest critic when it comes to cooking, but these are hot dogs I will eat. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, bro. I love it.
So I will bring you some next time we are in the Phoenix metro area.
Okay, do. Yeah, I would love to. That would be awesome.
Yeah. With that being said, happy birthday, my friend, my brother. Why don't you take us out of here?
Hey, thanks for listening, everyone. We really appreciate you all. That was Scott. I am Jason. And as always, if you never know quite what to say,